Big screens in cars are all the rage right now. But guess what? Mitsubishi Electric is taking it to a new level. They've got a new concept that they're approaching with it. And I'm talking today with Mark Rakoski. He's the vice president at Mitsubishi Electric. And Mark, it's good to see you, albeit virtually.
Good to see you as well, John. Nice to be with you today.
You guys showed a concept for screens in a car and a bunch of other things, but let's start with these screens. Instead of having one big giant one, maybe like Tesla has, you've got 3 different screens in the instrument panel of a vehicle, and you can jump from screen to screen. They're all linked, but you explain it, please.
Absolutely. So the product that we showed was our Emerald Dove concept, and there's an actually total of 8 screens total in the vehicle. But what you're referring to is 3 screens in the cockpit passenger area. And all 3 screens can be coupled together or decoupled. Obviously, there's certain aspects or functions that the passenger may want to be able to use, but you do not want to distract the driver. So that is the philosophy behind the multiple screens, especially in the front seat area.
And what I like is, I mean, the driver can use it or the front seat passenger can use it. And you can have, just swipe one screen in front of the driver if that's what he or she wants, or vice versa.
Sure. And there's the traditional instrument cluster screen area, which is going to be driver focused and not cluttered to make sure that we don't get distracted. But there's no reason the screen that we put directly in front of the passenger, you can't do functions like putting in a destination for navigation to help out the driver, or managing your climate control for your seat area in front of you. So there's a nice blending of what is for the driver and what is the passenger, and obviously what's the traditional center stack cluster can be a combination of both.
There's a lot to look at there, and that's great. But then there's also the issue of driver distraction. How do you handle that?
Sure. Part of the concept is we have all cabin monitoring, which is obviously monitoring the driver to ensure that the eyes are on the road and not looking down at a cell phone or looking into what the passenger's doing or the rear seat. And we can notify the driver to put their hands back on the wheel and other things to alert them to be a safe driver. And also we've included a infant detection for the back seat, which is part of the all cabin monitoring, which is going to be a new NCAP regulation coming, so that if an infant is left behind, it will be an audible alert to the car and or cell phone technology.
And sticking with the instrument panel for a moment, in the video that we've got here, you've got some sort of round clock on the top of the IP. What's that about?
Yeah, so with all of the screens, we thought one needs to sort of be the personal assistant, and that is one of the screens that is a little more simplified. And we worked with some startup companies for AI technology and natural speech recognition, and that screen is more dedicated to being the personal assistant, if you will, in the vehicle, kind of always listening to whether or not you want to change music or navigate to a different direction. It has a personal assistant, and we actually used a little owl in the screen to be the assistant, but obviously that could be changed to personal preference as well.
You've also got displays in the sun visors. Explain why you've done that.
Sure. As we transition to a more mobile society, the car could be a personal mode, which would be, it's a van with lots of family members in it, as we've traditionally thought about. But it also could be a van that's used for delivery. It also could be a van that's used for ride hailing. And we thought that screen we put into the visor can notify people outside whether the car is driving autonomous to let a pedestrian or a bicyclist know, or manual driven. If it's a delivery service, what is the name of the delivery service? Or if it's a ride-hailing service, again, what is the name of the ride-hailing service? So it's kind of a window to the outside world to let people know what this car is doing in this kind of multimodal mass society, if you will.
Okay, so you got me counting here. We got 3 screens on the dashboard. I think 2 for the rear seat passengers, 2 more screens there. Is that right? We got 1 or 2 in the visors. I think I'm missing one, or is that the round clock?
Yeah, so the 3 screens across the front, which would be the cluster, the center stack, and the passenger. The 2 in the rear in the traditional back seat, rear seat entertainment location. We also have 1 up high in the rear for an overall just kind of a navigation of where the vehicle is going and where you're headed, kind of a trip net notification screen. And then the one visor that we had was the passenger visor. Obviously, we want to be flexible to our customers' needs, and we could rearrange the screens and locations and quantity, and also the high definition versus 4K. Those trade-offs we would work out with our customers along that path.
And it's not just screens that you're talking about here, but some of the things that you can do with the screen. So tell us about this pothole detector.
Sure. One of our key things that we're driving towards is kind of a smart society. And as these vehicles travel around, again, we talked about the commercial driving versus personal driving. But along the path, if you have a front camera, obviously, which most vehicles do, and we have a product called our high definition locator, which can pinpoint where you're at on a road to centimeter level location. If there happens to be a pothole that's there and the camera sees it, you can sort of register where that pothole is at and let via the cloud a municipality or whomever needs to know, hey, there's a pothole on this road, and then they know to go fix it. So it's a part of evolving and using the technology to be smart in society, and that's the path that we want to go forward with at Mitsubishi Electric.
Centimeter accuracy. That's interesting because I know, isn't GPS like off by a couple of feet or something like that? How do you guys get it narrowed down so much, which would be critical, especially for autonomous cars?
Absolutely. So our high definition locator is used for both autonomous, and we're also looking at these other use cases such as pothole detection. So we also make satellites, so we're very familiar in that space, but we use corrective technology along with high definition locator and our algorithms to take that GPS signal, correct it down to a centimeter level. And that helps with lane level localization and autonomous. It can be part of your suite of sensors for autonomous. And we're also looking again at the use cases such as the pothole detection to say, no, this pothole is located exactly at this location. So if a team has to go in and fill in that pothole, whatever, they know where to go. And obviously the use cases become unlimited as you try to get from, say, 5-meter accuracy down to centimeter level accuracy. But we want to showcase to our customers and that we can do this for them.
You're also showcasing home connection, vehicle to home. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. In CVS prior, we had a relationship with Garage Door Opener of how to get that connected into the vehicle. And obviously, as smart home becomes more prevalent, whether it's turning your lights on and off or the thermostats, wouldn't it be nice to know, gosh, did I leave that light on? And if you're using the car as part of the ecosystem of your mobile phone, the car, and the home, we think it's natural that those three should be combined. And you could, via the cloud, look back to see, a camera maybe in your house. Did you leave that light on? Or get a notification if the light's on or off, or take a kind of obviously quick view in your house or outside of your house if you want to know something going on.
Cybersecurity, huge issue in the industry, as you well know.
Absolutely.
But what I like about your system is you let somebody know if they're being hacked. I mean, a lot of people get hacked or companies get hacked. They don't even know it until maybe they get a ransomware request or demand. But tell us how you alert people that they're getting hacked.
Sure. It's actually interesting. We did a usability study to say, okay, we're doing everything we can to prevent cybersecurity hacks. But in the case if it does happen, from a user experience standpoint, if I'm driving down the road, how should we notify the driver? And we did a usability study with putting people in the vehicle, and through some technology, we can turn on the wipers where they didn't ask it to be turned on, or they can turn the radio up or down, or HVAC, as you can imagine, once we get into the CAN communication protocol. But we thought is, okay, once the driver may understand I'm being hacked or the screens are blinking, that the vehicle's smart enough to know to notify the driver, yes, we understand there's been a cybersecurity threat or penetration, and how do we notify the customer so that A, they know it's happening and they feel safe and secure that they can either continue to drive or move the vehicle off to the side of the road, that we understand what's going on. So we think that's very important.
Yeah, no kidding. I like that feature a lot. That's my list of questions, Mark, but am I missing anything here?
No, not on that particular demo. We're very proud of what we did. It's a concept that works, pre-COVID and post-COVID as we move to a more mobile society, and we hope that everybody enjoys the work that we put into it.
Mark Rakoski, thanks for bringing us up to speed with what Mitsubishi Electric is bringing to the automotive industry.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the time.